course, as holidaymakers are making their way back home, let's cross over live to our reporter on the ground, Hitekani Magwedze. He is taking us through the build-up of those huge car contingents that we're seeing on the road this morning. A very good evening to, or rather this afternoon, a very good afternoon to you, Hitekani. Essentially, just take us through what the roads are looking like this evening and also the amounts of people that we've seen on the roads.
Oh, good afternoon, Shante, and good afternoon to our viewers. We're currently here on the N3 at the Hoek Plaza. It's clearly the build-up of traffic is in fact growing, obviously because the festive season is ending and people are making their way back into Gauteng. Of course, this is the factor, or this is the characteristic for a lot of the toll plazas that are around Gauteng, including the Free State and Limpopo. There is an anticipation of vehicles or a build-up of traffic coming back into the province. As you can see behind me, the amount of toll booths that are open coming into Gauteng are obviously a lot more compared to the ones going out of the province. We do know that by yesterday, the Verreder Vlei toll coming in from the Free State had already registered about 1,100 vehicles per hour coming into the province, and that was without incident. We also know that the Gauteng Toll Plaza was experiencing about 2,500 vehicles between 9 o'clock and 1 in the afternoon, and that was with one incident that we are aware of that involved fatalities and a head-on collision. But we know from the JMPD that there is, of course, an anticipation of a build-up of traffic from this weekend onwards as holidaymakers, of course, come back into the province. We also know that the weather, there was a weather warning on the roads, considering the amount of, considering it would be cloudy and there would be rainfall. So there is a warning out to people to drive safely, considering the weather and considering the amount of traffic that is going to be at play. In fact, there is also a warning for cars to be in a good condition, for them not to be overloaded, and in addition to watch out for tiredness and weariness on the road, as there are those factors that can cause serious accidents. But there is, of course, a build-up of traffic. A lot more cars are coming into the province as holidaymakers, as you rightly say, are coming back into the province.
Now, in terms of those circumstances that one would be dealing with on the road, and then of course the build-up of cars, have there been any serious incidents that have been reported, specifically with the amounts of people that are coming onto the roads very, very quickly?
Well, I should say the one serious incident that we are aware of is the one that was reported yesterday on the N1 between Gauteng and Mokgopong, and that's of course where a lot of the incidents happened before the festive season. A lot of deaths happened and a lot of fatalities happened there on the Gauteng, between Gauteng and the Hoek Toll Plaza on the N1. Yesterday it was also recorded that some multiple fatalities from a head-on collision that happened yesterday. So that's the one that we know of. We know as well that the JMPD has sent out vehicles to the N3 and the N1 so that they facilitate and check traffic to ensure that the drivers are, of course, awake, and the amount of drivers that are, the vehicles that are driving on those roads, those main roads, are the vehicles are in good condition, Shante.
Now, in terms of road management authorities as well as metro police authorities, are we seeing the same policing and road management contingent that we saw at the beginning of the festive season, as well as that enthusiasm of police deployment on the roads?
Well, with the anticipation that there's a rise in the amount of traffic and the amount of vehicles that will come through these toll gates, there is of course that expectation for the amount, JMPD vehicles and traffic officers to be checking traffic, to be facilitating traffic. We haven't seen any of them who just got here really in their defense, but we know that there has been communication from them that they will be sending out their vehicles, as many as possible, into the N1, into the N3, to ensure that the roads are safe, and to ensure that people see them. We know that it's important for people to see these vehicles, of course, and officers on the road, to ensure that there is, of course, no criminal activity, and of course drivers drive safely. Where we are located right now, there are police officers policing this toll gate and making sure that people are safe here.
And in terms of the commuters that we've seen on the road, we also spoke to them upon the start of the festive season and interacting and getting their engagement, specifically with the policing deployment that they've seen on the roads, with the roadblocks that they've seen on the roads, and also some also saying they have been forced every 2 hours to make those stops and to rest. What is the sentiment of commuters on the ground as we head out of the festive season?
Well, we've spoken to some of them, and they are, of course, happy that they have arrived into the province safely. As we said just now, that there was a collision yesterday that took the lives of some motorists, and you can just imagine being able to come back into the province safely and without any incident is, of course, a great, it's a victory considering the amount of accidents that have been experienced on the N3 and the N1. But we are going to be speaking to them on screen in the next bulletin, just for them to relay their stories for you. But we know that they have been encouraged, and there have been messages throughout the festive season, building up to the end of the festive season, and the driving and the migration back into Gauteng, to ensure that they know the principles or the tips that they're supposed to uphold to ensure that they drive safely. Those are, to watch out against fatigue. If you are fatigued at any point, you are encouraged to stop and rest at the nearest safe or filling station to you, to ensure that you are not overloaded and your car is in good condition, and that you shouldn't be driving in any under any influence of alcohol or drugs. And we know that some of them have been working to ensure that they keep to these tips so that they can arrive at their destinations safely.
Thank you very much for giving us that update, Hitekani Magwedze, for SABC